We have 5 new episode titles released for The Flash Season 8, and they hint to some pretty interesting stuff taking place, such as more time travel, returning characters and villains, and many more. Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 8, and for today's video we have some new promo material in regards to the next couple of episodes for The Flash Season 8. This is of course some new episode titles, and I'll be breaking them down, theorizing about what could potentially be taking place during those specific episodes. Some of them we have clear indications through set photos and some teases through various interviews from Eric Wallace, and some of them will just be pure speculation. So far we are 2 episodes into the new graphic novel, that of course being graphic novel number 6, where we are dealing with a new villain, aka the Black Flame. He does of course go around murdering people feeling grief. It is an incredibly mysterious and unique storyline, and I am very interested to see where the storyline goes. But yeah, the first few episode titles are actually related to this Black Flame graphic novel. So the title for episode 12 is of course Death Rises. Now in regards to this, I am guessing it is in regards to someone rising from the dead, possibly. We do know that this is the second episode Ronnie Raymond is meant to be in. His first episode is episode 11, but honestly I don't think this episode title is about him. I think it's about something else. We do know that we are to be having another familiar face returning for at least 3 episodes this season. Which episodes we don't know exactly, but this character is of course Eddie Thawne, and Eric Wallace did say that this version of Eddie Thawne, which will be returning for this season, will be a pretty different version of Eddie Thawne, one that does of course pay tribute to the past, but also it does have quite some differences as well, so I'm really interested to see what's that about. But this could possibly be related to Eddie Thawne, or of course this episode title could be related to the Black Flame in some way. Now the next episode title is for episode 13 of this season, that is titled Death Falls. Now this does lead me to believe that this will be some sort of a 2-parter episode with episode 12. So it will be something like episode 12 ending in a cliffhanger, which will then obviously be continued in this episode straight after, possibly even resolved. This could possibly be the final episode of this graphic novel, or it could be the penultimate episode as well. I personally think it will be the penultimate episode of this graphic novel, and I will get into why in a bit. But this episode I believe is also the episode where we have the Flash and Frost with this new look. I'm interested to see what that's about, but they're together facing off against the Black Flame. This could be for episode 14 as well, these set photos, but I personally think that it's for episode 13. Now the reason to why I think that this episode is actually the penultimate episode of this graphic novel is because when we go into episode 14, that is titled Funeral for a Friend, this I think is the final episode of this graphic novel, saying that episode 15 is the next interlude portion of the season. So episode 14 is when this Black Flame story does end. And the only reason I'm saying this is because Eric Wallace did confirm that we're meant to be having another interlude portion for this season, and that is for episodes 15, 16, and 17. So if episode 14 was not the final episode of the Black Flame storyline, that would technically mean that it is also a filler episode, and 4 filler episodes in a row just wouldn't make any sense. So that is why I think episode 14 is actually the final episode of the Black Flame storyline. And yes, I know episodes 12 to 13 do give that feel that it's okay, like it's a 2-parter episode, so it's possibly like a penultimate episode, and then like and then the next episodes where like everything is resolved. It does feel like that, so pretty much a penultimate episode and then a season finale for this storyline. That's what it does feel like, kind of like what they did with like The Last Temptation of Barry Allen part 1, and then with obviously part 2. It does give that type of feel with of course Death Rises and then Death Falls. It does give that vibe, but personally I think episodes 13 and 14 are not the final 2 episodes of this storyline, and I think that episode 14 will actually be the last episode for this Black Flame story. But this episode title is actually very, very interesting. It does obviously tease a certain death, going from the title, Funeral for a Friend. Of course, no one major is going to be dying. I'm not expecting anything like that happening. But this was the episode where it was teased that we would be having some sort of funeral. This was coming from Candice Patton's Instagram when she was dressed in funeral attire. So we did know that some sort of funeral was going to be coming. But I don't think it's related to someone major. It could maybe be related to Frost at most, because there is something definitely up with the new look. So in regards to this Frost new look with like the black hair and stuff, it could be just like Caitlyn absorbing the ice powers because Frost dies. Maybe Frost merges back with Caitlyn or something along those lines. There needs to be some explanation with the new look. I don't think it's just Frost died. I think there's something behind it. So I think there's something definitely up with that. So maybe Frost dies, but again, I don't think that's going to happen. And again, like the episode is of course titled Funeral for a Friend. So it could be someone close to someone in Team Flash dying. So maybe like Grandma Runk could possibly die, and then that could obviously be related to Chester, Funeral for a Friend. It could be something like that. But of course, we do know that we're obviously meant to be having Ronnie and Eddie coming back for this storyline. So it could be once again related to Ronnie or Eddie. I would say more along the lines of Eddie, saying that Ronnie was only said to return for 2 episodes. So that's most probably episodes 11 and 12. And then Eddie is meant to be returning for 3 episodes. So it's more likely for it to be about him than Ronnie. But again, it could be anyone. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think it's anyone, majorly related to Team Flash or anything like that. Now, the next episode is episode 15, titled Into the Still Force. This is actually quite an interesting episode. This is the episode Eric Wallace will be directing, and this will actually be the 3rd interlude we are getting, and this will be the first episode for it. So there are, again, 3 interlude episodes, and episode 15 will be the first of the interlude. And this is actually an episode I'm really looking forward to. First things first, Jessica Parker Kennedy will be reprising her role as Nora West-Allen, aka XS, in this episode. We do know that because Canada Graphs did mention that he saw her trailer on set. And then also she did make an Instagram video in her trailer wearing the XS suit as well. So that is how we know that she will be returning for episode 15, possibly even more. Nothing related to Bart yet. Jordan Fisher was in Broadway or something. I don't know if that ended yet or anything like that, or it must have ended now, but during the time where Jessica released that Instagram photo or Instagram video, I don't think Jordan Fisher was on set. I think he was still doing Broadway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Jordan Fisher will be in this episode. I think it will just be Jessica Parker Kennedy. So we could possibly be seeing some sort of time travel taking place to the future, saying that Jessica will be returning, or again, it could just be Nora time traveling to the past. That could of course be possible. But this is actually another episode which we got a first look at through set photos. It was with Barry and Dion in the Still Force, and they are wandering around with some sort of tracker. And this is also the episode we saw the Zoom and Godspeed destroys Central City article, so that could hint to some future time travel. But of course, if you read the title of the episode, it's Into the Still Force, so, well, we are in the Still Force. But there is a lot to look forward to for this episode. So what I think is going on over here is that Iris got completely lost in time due to her time sickness. Dion has no idea where she is. Barry has no idea where she is. And we pretty much have Barry and Dion going into the Still Force, and they're trying to locate where she could have gone. That is what I think is happening. And of course, as I said before, in the set footage, we did see Barry holding some sort of tracker. So I think that is a device which helps him trace temporal particles, which makes it easier for him to track down where Iris's whereabouts are. This was around the time where Candice Patton took a hiatus, so she might not even be in this episode at all. But I think that this episode is related to Iris's time sickness in some way. But seeing all of these hints to some speedsters returning could be setting something up for an upcoming episode, which I would really be looking forward to if that does happen. We do know we're getting Nora in this episode, so she will definitely be playing some sort of an important role as well. In regards to Zoom and Godspeed, I don't know if we will actually see them. It's obviously just a newspaper article, but it is from the future, so it is bound to happen eventually. Will it be this season? I'm not entirely sure. But lastly, we do have the title to go over for episode 16 for this season, and that is titled The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen. This is another interlude episode, and this is actually the episode Katie Lotz, the actress playing Sarah Lance, directed. And this does seem like a weird and interesting episode at the same time. Now, the only reason I'm saying it's weird is because we did talk about this episode during our stream. It was me and Arrowverse Scenes, and he did mention that this was a nod to The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and it is obviously a movie about a man who ages backwards. So when born, he is born looking like an old man, but as he gets older, it's like the younger he looks, if that makes sense. So yeah, it is quite a unique episode, like, inspiration for a title. But we did also mention that this could possibly be the first episode Barton, aka the Reverse Flash, returns. We do know that he is going to be having somewhat of a big role for the back half of the season, and he is confirmed to return. So we are 100% getting Barton eventually. So it could be for this episode, possibly setting him up being the main villain for the next graphic novel, or this will just be his escape from Argus. He manages to get his powers back in some way and just manages to escape, thus of course setting up his next return, whenever that will be, maybe for season 9. Now that is pretty much it for the episode titles. However, we do also know that episode 17 will be an interlude episode as well. And recently, filming has been extended for a couple of more weeks, and we are meant to be having 3 graphic novels this season. So episodes 15, 16, and 17 are interlude episodes. This does obviously mean that we will be having a 20-episode season, where episodes 18, 19, and 20 will be part of graphic novel number 7. So I think those final 3 episodes will be the next graphic novel. Maybe we'll get a couple of more episodes as well, because I don't think 3 episodes is enough for like an actual storyline. 4 at most, so I think we could be getting more episodes, but again, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below which episode you guys are most looking forward to. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.